Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. It is the 17th of April 2018. Over the weekend, the United States, the United Kingdom and France, as we all expected, launched missiles into Syria. It's interesting how, at least you could, at least with George Bush and Tony Blair, they at least tried to go through the UN and try to make some case before they just did whatever they wanted. With Donald Trump, it shows how much power they really do have. He just tweeted that he wanted to, drop some missiles, and then a few days later he dropped missiles. Obviously, I believe he doesn't actually need Congress's approval. Theresa May did have some talks with MPs, but it looked like, I'm sure she will defend this, and this is the problem. They can defend like a lie, no matter, even if everyone knew the truth. These politicians, they have an authority and a way about it that they can spin it anyway. But it looked like she was just following Donald Trump's, when the media call coattails, because he sort of went back on those tweets, sort of saying there's no time set, almost speaking as his spokesperson did, saying that there was a number of options. And then obviously, so it looked like he backtracked a bit, and then Theresa May had the talk with the MPs in Parliament, or was it only her own party? I'm not sure who exactly it was, but I know she did have some conversation. But then it looked like, well, okay, then you got the backing for whatever you wanted to. What was it? They said intervention. I'm not sure what exact word they use. It's always very, they always have to use certain words that are very vague. That don't actually necessarily say missile strike or something like that. So you can interpret it in any way that you want. So if anyone says, "Oh, you're going to drop missiles," well, no, there's going to be action. We don't know what action it could be. It could be diplomatic action. They leave it very vague. So it looked like, oh, okay, there's Donald Trump stopped down. So now you've got the backing that you wanted. Go on then, drop some bombs on Syria on your own. It would have been nice to have Donald Trump to say no, he's not going to do it, and then see what Theresa May would have done. She would have looked so stupid, which she did anyway, because when he dropped them, then obviously she followed through, and so did France. France actually claimed that they were the one that talked Donald Trump into staying in Syria, because they were obviously, when he got elected, he said he didn't want to, be like previous presidents who interfere in other people's countries and wanted to make America great again and just centre on America. But he's obviously been persuaded already for the interests of America that are outside. And obviously, at least with Iraq and Afghanistan, when they did those illegal wars, they waited for the UN to give them what information they needed. They haven't even, the OPCW haven't even investigated this incident yet, whether it was true or not. Obviously Russia says that it was faked. All I've seen is people being drenched with water, which is what Sky News keeps showing you whenever they talk about this thing. I believe people did die, they say. Obviously, but it'd be easy to stage an event. That's not difficult. It's in a foreign country. It's very easy to do that. It's not a difficult thing, is it? And obviously, we know, anyone who's followed all these different wars, we all know that they need a trigger. They need something to be able to justify their action, because we consider ourselves civilized. We don't just drop bombs on people. We don't just do things like that. So we need a reason, a moral reason. Like in the first Iraq war, it was because Saddam Hussein stole Kuwait. There all has to be some kind of justification. It's interesting in the UK, and now it maybe makes sense why the Salisbury incident took place. Is obviously after the Iraq and Afghanistan and Tony Blair debacle, no one wanted to meddle in the Middle East. But obviously by using that nerve agent in Salisbury, it then focused people on, oh wow, you have to be careful now, isn't it? And the connection between nerve agent, and Russia, and then Syria, nerve agent, Russia, it gave people, like if we did want to go and drop bombs, which we did, then people could think about Salisbury and think about, well, that's why we have to do it, I know Tony Blair and, that illegal war, it was all wrong, but look what happened in Salisbury, assuming actually that it did even happen. The thing is, well, it's moving on to my next point, but just before I go on to that, the reason they did this is humanitarian reasons, yeah? And we all know that that's completely rubbish. Surely there's no one on the planet that believes them when they say that they care about children in Syria, or children wherever, or women and men, when in their own countries, look at this Windrush Caribbean thing at the moment, where they've been deporting people illegally who came over here, were asked to come over here to help build NHS and public service and this, that and the other, and they weren't given documents, and then they've been sent back. Come on, people who live on the streets. How many of us are living in flats who will never have the opportunity to buy houses anymore? How many billionaires and rich people own all these things that we will never get, even though we're all supposed to be equal? This is all our land. We are meant to be citizens, we're meant to be sharing in this, they're meant to be helping us out. Come on, the people that die in countries where there's medicine sitting in containers. This planet has enough food for everyone, but people starve. Come on, I know there is social service and all this, that and the other, but don't tell me that these people are going into the Middle East to let's look at history, yeah? Let's look at Iraq and Afghanistan. What state have they been left in? Have they been left in a better state? It's ironic that they're actually in a worse state than they were under the West intervention than they were under dictators. Now they have ISIS as well. Come on. After all this, when you look at Syria before, and now Syria now, and then when eventually America gets their way and gets rid of Assad and this, that and the other, do you think they're going to be better off? Do you really think that? Do you think, and that's what I mean, if you think, that they do it for humanitarian reasons, well, why don't they start at home? Yeah? Why don't they make sure every single person in their own country is looked after? That there aren't needless deaths, that there aren't people on the streets, that there aren't people who can't even afford to live, who can't even enjoy their life because all their life is about is earning money to pay someone else off. And the other thing is that, okay, all right, humanitarian reasons. You want to justify dropping bombs for humanitarian reasons. Okay, how many people died in Syria for that nerve agent? I don't know. Let's say there was 100. How many people died in America for gun crimes? So why don't you start dropping bombs on gun factories? Oh no, of course not, because that's your own people. You'd never do that, isn't it? But you would do it in another person's country because they're not your own people. Knife crimes in London. I'm sure there's more people that have been killed in knife crimes. Well, why doesn't Theresa May drop bombs on gangs in London? Was that not justified now? Or that would be extreme. It would be extreme to drop bombs on your own people. Yeah? But it's okay to drop bombs on another person's sovereign country. So the last point I just want to go on to, which goes on about the staging, how it is possible, is television. It's another one of these things that I was going on at the beginning of these pursuits of the truth, about lies that are hidden in plain sight, that we take for granted, we don't realise they're lies. Television, films, media, all this stuff. What do they do? When you watch a drama, what is it? It's acting, isn't it? It's pretending to be something that's not you. It's a lie. It's a fabrication. It's not actually real. We don't see it like that because we grow up watching these things and it's entertainment. That's what it is to us. It's why that I know in Jehovah's Witness and in Islam, they don't like the idea of television and photographs, because it is replicating. It is. We spend our whole life sitting in front of the television watching EastEnders, Coronation Street, I don't know, Days of Our Lives, whatever the programs are, Doctor Who, it doesn't matter what it is. They're all lies, aren't they? They're not true things. Yeah, there are some truths on TV, like, I was going to say the news, question mark, documentaries, well, even them, there's bits, where they use CGI and they use sound effects which are not actually really there, like nature programs. But what I mean is, the vast majority of what you watch, especially like even, say, in films, these actors, what you're seeing is a character, isn't it? You're not seeing a real person. It's a person lying. I mean, I know that people are going to say, no, it's not a lie. What I'm trying to put across is that it's not truth. Acting is a deception, isn't it? It's pretending to be someone that is not you. So in those terms, that's what I'm trying to talk about. I know this is difficult because the word lie is very evocative, and you don't see television or movies as a lie. But what I mean is that it's not, you're pretending. So what I mean is you're living your whole life watching things that are not reality. And obviously in not reality, you can make anything up. It's like when you look at soaps, like EastEnders, Days of Our Lives, Coronation Street, Neighbours, whatever it is, how ludicrous the plot lines are. But we just swallow them in. What is it they say about movies? You have to suspend your belief, whichever way it is. But so what I mean is, if you're spending most of the time watching that, it is actually a lie. So how difficult is it then to then replicate something and make it look like that? Make a real event? Well, it's not difficult at all, is it? All you need is a camera, special effects and money. You could stage anything. And we already accept it because we already watch TV and movies full of lies, full of people lying all the time, pretending to be someone that they're not. But the thing is, we don't think of it like that because we think of it as entertainment. We think of it as harmless. But is that harmless, spending all your time pretending to be something you're not, watching something that isn't even real, more than actually what's outside your window, which is reality? Take care, take it easy, God bless and peace.